McNair radio show here on this Monday night. Glad you could join us here on the Brave Sports Network, WMIS, WTYJ in Natchez, 1240 AM, 97.7 FM. Here on the beautiful campus of Alcorn State University, the flagship station of the Brave Sports Network, 91.7 WPRL and WPRL.org. And in Hattiesburg, WGDQ 92.1 down in the Hub City, 50,000 watts of FM power down in Hattiesburg. Glad you can join us one and all. And of course, watching us here on the YouTube channel, Larry Sanders, a part of that. And of course, Coach McNair, some of your video was shown on the WJTV pregame tailgate show on Saturday, as I got a text about it late last week. Of course, they have a tailgate show. They go around the state previewing the games, whether it's Ole Miss or Mississippi State. And I got a text late last week. They said they want to use some of the video from your show last week, and I'm sure that went over well. So that's a good deal. There's Larry Sanders, who's a big Southern fan and a Saints fan, so he's happy. We're all happy. And joining me here in studio is Braves offensive coordinator Ryan Stanchek. Good evening, Coach.
Good evening. Thanks for having us, Charles.
Coach Fred McNair joining us in studio. Coach, congratulations.
Always good, Charles.
And on the other side of the glass, in the other studio, we have another special guest. Introduce yourself. You can't miss it. You gotta love it. And of course, we're all loving what's happened over the weekend as the Braves with a big win over Prairie View. So where do we start? Where do we go from here? First of all, I'll give you the number, 601-877-6595. You can tweet a question, Tall Man Radio. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. A bunch of texts, a bunch of tweets, I'm sure a bunch of phone calls coming in. So, Coach McNair, let's start with you. Congratulations on yet another win and spoiling yet another homecoming.
You know, Charles, the biggest thing is, it always starts with the young men that we coach every day, and the coaching staff that we have here for football, and such a wonderful job these guys have been doing throughout the whole course of the season to get these young men to play to their potential that they need to, and they're doing a great job of encouraging these kids and teaching these young men the things that need to be taught in preparation for a game on Saturday. So my hat's off to those guys that kind of, I won't say they stand in front of me, Charles, in this program, because I always put those guys that coaches those young men ahead of me, almost like administrator at some point. But those guys, they put a lot of time in coaching and getting the young men to understand the concept of and the philosophy what we're trying to teach them to do to win on Saturday.
Good championship ball clubs find a way when they get knocked off their feet a little bit. And against Alabama State, that happened. And it's what you do. We all get knocked down in life. We all get knocked down in sports. But are you going to pick yourself up? Are you going to get up? And the Braves have done that.
That's the biggest thing, Charles. It's not about how hard you get knocked down. It's, most of the time, can you get back up from it? And I thought these guys did a great job of getting back up from that punch that they took from Alabama State and going on and playing a good A&M team up into a Prairie View now, Charles. And, I think these guys was up to the challenge, and we always told them as coaches, just don't let that one loss turn into two. And I thought they did a great job bouncing back from it and doing the things they need to do to get it done, Charles, just the little things that matter in our program. And that's what we as coaches, we teach them. And so once they develop those things, and the big things will come, just to pick up the small pieces and we're gonna build a house. And that's what they did, Charles. They doing a great job of it. And being mindful, these young men, their daily routine is getting up in the morning time, going to class, and their study hours, and coming out to practice every evening, and doing what it needs to get done to win football games on Saturday in preparation.
Coach Ryan Stanchek joining us here in the studio. We had Coach Thornton on a few weeks ago, so we're going to look at the offensive side of the ball. Coach, we appreciate you coming on the program here on this busy Monday. So talk about the offense, how it's been able to continue to improve. And you being named offensive coordinator, how big of an adjustment was that, and some of the things that you've learned about being an offensive coordinator here?
Well, it's really been a smooth transition, Charles. Learning under Coach McNair and having a tremendous staff that we have offensively, that's really helped, and the guys are doing a great job, and they're fighting. And the biggest thing I'm proud of is the turnovers. We've gotten better on turnovers, and we play great defense here, and we score some points and run the ball effectively, and that's usually a good recipe And I've been really proud of how the guys have gotten better in that aspect, especially Noah Johnson this weekend with 0. That was big.
You know, Coach, I thought Noah Johnson was huge, and you can chime in, of course, Coach Stanchek, the fact that Prairie View had him bottled up. I mean, they could have had 3 sacks at least, and there were 2 plays in which 2 Panthers sandwiched him. He got away and was able to make plays, and sometimes you just got to keep, we're behind the chains, but sometimes you have to keep the ball moving, and Noah Johnson kept plays alive. That just shows you his strength and how he's able to elude tacklers and avoid being put to the ground.
That's right, and Coach Maddox Noah's one of our strongest guys. You know, it's funny how that works out sometimes, and this is a game of inches, and sometimes better lucky than good. And I was very proud that we converted on a 2-minute drill there right before the half, and then we finished the game. The last drive, which we've struggled with at times, we usually hold the ball, and then have to punt, you know, with a minute left. And I was very proud that we finished. That was big, but that play by Noah, and great scramble drill by Dale Harris at the end of that, and it's a game of inches. I mean, the guy had him, and Noah shook him off and threw the ball 50 yards, and you know, it's funny sometimes how it works out. When you work hard and you do things right, those big plays tend to go your way, and that's what happened.
All right, we're going to go to the phone lines. Marquise joining us right off the bat here on the Fred McNair Radio Show. Good evening, Marquise. Doing pretty good.
How you doing, Coach?
Great, Marquise. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I was nice to stay on y'all, man.
Man, we sure appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and y'all number 1 now?
Right now we are, Marquise, and we appreciate you calling in. Yeah, we are, and Coach, the thing is, you know, you got to help, you got to take care of your own business. We got that done, and I'm sure players were texting and tweeting and trying to figure out what was going on with Bama State and A&M, and you saw how A&M was able to pull away. So now we control our own fate with 1 game left.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, Charles. You know, as we always talk to the young men as a coach, you know, we play our brand of football. You know, just worry about Alcorn and take care of Alcorn business as we normally do, and everything else will fall in place, Charles. You know, we got to do what we have to do to maintain our heads above water, and I think these guys understand shredding the water ain't bad at all, Charles. You know, so you know when you start doing that kind of thing, so it's been good for us, and we just kind of continue to get better and the small things, Charles. And I think that these guys up to the task of taking on that challenge and getting better at the small things. And that's the biggest thing, Charles. We just got to continue to gripe over the small things, and these guys up for the challenge.
All right, so let's look at some of the action here. Right off the bat, we're in the hole. We had a fumble. Once with a fumble, and Prairie View had it inside the 10-yard line. So talk about that. It was a tricky win. It was windy all game long. So just talk about how we were able to get off to a tough start there.
Well, the biggest thing is, first of all, the first mistake was he should have front catch it and just took it down or just took it in the end zone. But, you know, he chose to bring it out and then not securing the ball, and they did a great job of scripting it. They did a great job, but he knows that we teach that every day in practice. If you're backing up on a kickoff, front catch, because it's hard to break your momentum going backwards and then try to come forward. But Javen Marshall, he knows that now, and we've been doing it every day in practice. So we just kind of can get better at those things. But he's good, and we was in a hole there, Charles. We gave the defense a bad position right there, bad field position right there, starting off.
So when you talk about fast starts, Coach Stanchek, Coach McNair and I talk about this, and I'm sure offensively you talk about it with your group, just getting off to a fast start. I think the Texas Southern was the one game in which boom, 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 boom. That was the fast start. You know, we had to hold on there, but I'm sure Coach Stanchek getting off to a fast start offensively is key.
It really is, Charles. And, you know, we talked to the guys today. We punted 3 times, and, you know, that's usually a pretty good number. But 2 of those 3, they were penalties on ourselves or a bad snap in the game. And one time they stopped us 3 and out. But we beat ourselves sometimes, and the guys understand that. And when we don't do that, we can be special.
Well, our defense held, Coach, a field goal, and the Panthers led 3-0 on Zach Elder's 22-yard field goal. But then we came right back. Chris Blair's 30-yard pass from Noah Johnson. So, Coach Stanchek, talk about that drive, 5 or 6 plays, 75-yard drive, and talk about that pass from Noah Johnson to Blair.
That was a big-time play, big-time throw, great catch by Blair. We used tempo on that drive, marched it down pretty well, and actually hit a tempo pass there for that catch. And the guys played fast, they got set well, and that was really good. When we play fast, when we're rolling, Noah's really strong.
Sometimes we go NASCAR up tempo, sometimes we don't. How when you make that determination, is just the flow of the game and how the defense looks?
Well, yeah, I think controlling the game and dictating the pace. At times I think we can dictate it and maybe see what the defense is in and try to give ourselves an advantage. But sometimes we do well when we do go fast. And, that's really been one thing we've done well is control the football. I think we're over, not by, it's a weird stat, but it's by accident, but I think 35 minutes a game is what we average. That's pretty high in the nation. It goes back to we have such a great defense here. And Coach Thornton and those guys have done a tremendous job. And if you control the ball and you play great defense, it's a good recipe.
So we got the lead, and just before you could get a sip of Coke, the lead was there, and the lead was gone as there was a kickoff return for a touchdown. And you could just see it from the far side to this near side. And once it's sealed off, only McCullough had the angle, couldn't get there, and it was a 91-yard touchdown. Talk about that.
Yeah, just bad language change by the guys running down on kickoffs. They had to stay in their lanes and break down and make the tackle. We had a gap there, and they took well advantage of it. It was a good run by the kid, and we just got to stay in our lane, stay lane assignment, Charles. And that's basically what it is, and we didn't do that play, and they got a good return for a touchdown.
Yeah, Goodall with a big kickoff return that made it 10-7. But Coach Danchik, we came right back with a field goal, a 8-play 54-yard drive. It seems like every time a team hits us, we seem to hit back and find a way to counter as we were able to tie the game at 10.
Yes, another solid drive by us. Obviously, we want touchdowns. We don't want to settle for field goals. We need to score the football. But solid answer, good drive, and we just got to finish. I think from 20-yard line to 20-yard line, we're elite. We just got to learn how to finish. And those guys realize that, and we're working our best.
Talk about playing behind the chains, because the one thing that I'm seeing, and I know you all don't like it as coaches, we had a second on that drive in which we got the field goal to tie it at 10. We had a 2nd and 24. We had a 3rd and 19. And that's called playing behind the chains in the football vernacular. And that's tough against pretty good defenses. When you're in that situation, 1st and 20, 2nd and 24, 3rd and 19, it's tough. And we have been behind the chains, but we found a way to. I know you're happy at the end result, but not happy with being behind the chains.
That's absolutely right, Charles. And what I'm most proud of is we were 7 for 14 on 3rd downs this week.
Yeah.
And that's really good. 50% will put you tops in the nation. And we haven't been that. And I was very proud of the guys on 3rd down. We got to execute on 3rd down. And we won on some 3rd and shorts. And we won on some 3rd and mediums and 3rd and longs. And I really think that's what tilted it our way offensively, was winning on those 3rd downs. That was really good.
When you're 2nd and 24 and 2nd and forever, the tendency is trying to get it all back at once, when really you got a couple of downs to try to get those yards. So if you get 7 or 8, you make it 2nd and 25, 3rd and 18. That's still tough, but that's a little more manageable.
Yeah, those calls are tough. Coach Mack looks at me sometimes. Good luck. But one of them, the center had a missed snap,
yeah.
And he played a solid football game. But mistakes are going to happen. Penalties are going to happen. Coach McNair says it all the time. You could throw a flag on any given play, and sometimes there needs to be more thrown. But just mistakes are going to happen, and we just got to limit those the best we can offensively and as a team. And if we limit those and limit the mistakes, but natural mistakes are going to happen. The snap was a fluke incident, and again, we punted 3 times, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
It's great to show the guys, look, we created adversity on ourselves, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
And when you can show them that on film, I think they understand it, and we just got to do our best to limit those.
We're able to get some points out of that, and it was a 10-10 game at the end of the first quarter. I kind of felt like it was going to be a knockdown, drag-out, like 48-47, 48-41. Last team gets the ball wins, because we know what Prairie View had done offensively and scoring the football. They were embarrassed against Southern University a couple of weeks ago, so I figured that they would come out offensively and try to get some stuff done. But just 10-10 game, Coach McNair. At the end of the first quarter, some big plays kind of set things up, and kind of a tussle at the end of the first 15 minutes.
And it was, Charles. And like I said, anytime we can come out and play that kind of quarter, just to be even at the end of that first quarter instead of being behind. That's big, going into the second quarter where you kind of come out and say, okay, we need to make these adjustments and play a whole lot better the second quarter. It's always good.
So it was 10-10. Takes us to our first break of the evening. Don't forget, Halloween is on Wednesday. Basketball season starts next Tuesday, as on the Braves Sports Network at 7:30. We'll have Lady Braves basketball versus Lane College at the Whitney Arena at 7:30 as basketball season starts next week. Can't believe what time goes by fast. But if you want to get to know the Braves men's and women's basketball team, check out Halloween Madness at the Davie Whitney Arena. Introduction of players and coaches. Sounds of Dynamite will be there. The cheerleaders will be there. Three-point shootout, Greek strolls, and a costume contest. Doors open at 5. The event starts at 5:30. For more information, call 601-877-6366. Hoop season is here. It begins next week as the Lady Braves will take on Lane College. Speaking of the Lady Braves, we'll have Courtney Pruitt, Lady Braves head basketball coach. She'll join us at the half of the game on Saturday. So we'll take a break. We'll look up the second quarter. Ryan Stanczyk is here, Braves offensive coordinator. If you have a question, Coach Fred McNair, of course. And over in Studio A, who do we have over there, Jamario? Say it again.
12 man.
He loves it. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this timeout on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
It's the Friday Night High School Game of the Week on WPRL 91.7 FM and on the web at WPRL.org. This Friday night, your Jefferson County Tigers will welcome Raleigh High School to Tiger Stadium. Pre-game, 6:50, game time 7. It's the first round of the Mississippi High School Association playoffs. Join your play-by-play announcers Jay Miles and the Ballsman Wendell Hurry and Jamario Chavez Brooks, senior producer. It's the Friday Night High School Game of the Week. Jefferson County versus Raleigh High School. Don't you miss it. Good luck, Tigers. It's ASU Braves football all the way from Las Cruces, New Mexico, when the Braves take on New Mexico State on Saturday. Catch all the action on WPRL 91.7 FM and WPRL.org. Game time 3, pre-game 2:30. Join your play-by-play announcers Charles Voice of the Braves, Evans, and Emmanuel Barnes. Sideline reporting Cedric Tillman. It's ASU football on WPRL 91.7 FM and WPRL.org.
All right, welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can tweet a question, Tall Man Radio. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. We've got a bunch of tweets to get to, a bunch of texts to get to, and, of course, Marquise just called us. So give us a call here as we go over the Prairie View game, and we'll look ahead to New Mexico State as we play up at this point in the season. In New Mexico State, 2-7 on the season. What does that mean? We'll talk about it a little bit later on as we preview the Aggies of New Mexico State. All right, Coach McNair, let's get into the second quarter. It was 10-10 at the end of the first, and we're able to outscore Prairie View 10-0 in the second quarter. McCullough's 20-yard field goal made it 13-10, and then Harris. We know what he did against Grambling, and we'll hear from him coming up here on the program. 44-yard play. Now, let's talk about that, Coach Stanczyk, because that was one of the big plays in the game. As Noah Johnson, again, he was sacked. In his strength, he kept the plays alive, and Harris can eat a sandwich, he can eat a meal, he can get dressed, and he was wide open for the touchdown.
That's right, Charles. That was a pass concept for us. That was a covered. Thought Prairie View did a really good job covering that up, and one or two guys got beat up front late, and Noah just took over. He shook off a defender, and another defender just missed him by an inch. Had a grab of him, and Noah shook him off and threw it. It had to be 55 yards in the air, and they all did a great scramble drill, and he was sitting back there. It's one of those unique plays, He was standing back there. He looked like a center fielder catching a fly ball, and we're very lucky and excited he did, because that was huge to score on a two-minute drill there.
We talked with Coach McNair, Coach Stanczyk, last week about, when you see from up above how the edges are open and Noah can run for this or that, he wants to make the play. But you want to be smart. You don't want to throw it in coverage like against Grambling. It's smart to throw it away. Live to see another down, trying to get what you can out of it. How do you look at that and what he's done the last couple of games, the strength of keeping plays alive, and then you go back to the Grambling game trying to make something happen, throwing it in the coverage. Just talk about the back and forth in your mind as you're seeing that unfold.
Well, I think the mobility that's the advantage of having a moving quarterback.
Yeah.
And Noah can run with the best of them. And I think Coach White's done a tremendous job with his completion percentage. And again, no turnovers this past week. And I think one the week before, just it was a fluke play and just kind of trying to make a play at the end of a scramble. But you take the good with the bad, and we're very excited. He's doing what he's doing, and he really threw for 279 this week, and that's they counted a shovel pass as a run, but it happens, and to throw that well this week with his completion percentage against a great defense. I thought those guys were really good, and they got after us as good as anybody has this year up front. I got to give that defense credit. Coach Miller did a great job.
And Coach McNair, you look at Harris, and I understand he just was kind of chomping at the bit early in the season. He was lining up in the slot, just waiting for his opportunity, just ready to get on the field, ready to make something happen. And, of course, a big catch against Grambling and had another big play. Just talk about his patience and being able, amongst all the receivers that we have, to just wait your time, just do what you do to get ready on Saturdays, and when your number's called, step up.
He's coming of age now, Charles, and I think he kind of got settled in now to where he understands, coming from the University of Miami and then coming to Lawrence, Mississippi, that's a big jump, ain't it, Charles?
Yeah.
But I think he kind of getting settled in to where he understands everything we're doing on offense and kind of coming of age. He's beginning to make some plays for us, and that's what we expect of him. Things of that nature coming from a graduate transfer from Miami, things of that nature. But he's coming of age. He's doing the things he's supposed to do to make plays.
Defensively, Coach McNair, Prairie was moving it down the field. Cole with an interception as the Panthers had it 1st and 10 from the Braves' 17-yard line. Prairie View's a throwing football team. They got a small back, but they want to spread you out, and they want to make something happen there. And Morton's pass in the end zone picked off by Cole.
I think our defense did a great job of covering their passing concepts up, Charles. I think they only ended up with like 174 yards just passing, and that's a solid job by the defense. Cole, he's been playing a solid game, ever since he's been starting, Charles. And that kid, he knows football, and he's very coachable. Anytime you like that, and study the game plan that you're given, and understand the concepts of the routes that's been thrown at you, you're gonna get some picks because you're in the right position to get them.
So the Braves at that point, it was 20-10 at the end of the first half. So, Coach Stanchek, talk about the way you were looking at your offense. You were able to move the ball a little bit. Prairie View was torched a couple of weeks ago against Southern University. So you looked at Prairie View's defense. What was it that was a bit of a concern for you as you tried to break down PVU's D?
They've had a good season defensively, and Southern did have a good game against them. And we studied about 5 or 6 games. At this point of the season, you watch a lot of games. Mm-hmm. And, what stood out to me was just the talent they have up front and at the linebacker level. And there's talent all over the field for them. And I thought they had a very good scheme. And we just tried to do a good job as coaches. Coach Phillips, wide receivers coach, Coach Pat White, quarterbacks coach, Coach Ratton, tight ends recruiting coordinator, and Coach Booz. We break it down each week. Some of us are watching run concepts, pass concepts, and then we break the field zones down and watch those as a staff and try to exploit, see where we can exploit them. And that's kind of how we do it. And it's a team effort, and those guys have done a tremendous job all year. Got to give them credit, and that's kind of how we go about it, and they did a good job.
20-10 our score at the break. We'll take a timeout as we approach the halfway point of the Fred McNair radio show. We'll take this timeout. We'll be right back after this on the Braves Sports Network.
WPRL 91.7 FM, home of radio broadcasting from the campus of Old Court State University. WPRL invites our listeners to join us each and every day for the best in gospel, jazz, R&B, and hip-hop. WPRL is All Court Sports Radio Network. WPRL is on the World Wide Web at WPRL.org. WPRL, it's a family affair. Charles Evans, Operation Manager. Shay Miles, Gospel Music Director, System Analyst and Internship Supervisor. Myrtle Hedrick, Secretary and Traffic Director and Chair of the Mass Communications Club. Jamario Chavez Brooks, R&B announcer and producer. WPRL, your community-minded radio station where it's a family affair.
All right, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification as we approach the bottom of the hour. Let's pause for 10 on the Braves Sports Network.
You are tuned in to WPRL 91.7 FM, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University.
All right, halfway through the Fred McNair radio show, give us a call, 601-877-6595. A bunch of texts and tweets to get to. We'll get to those here coming up in a matter of moments. So, Coach Stanchek, as we look at the offense and looking at it from upstairs, we know P.J. Simmons, we know what he has done, and we know what we can do. Not a lot of touches of late. I understand he's not 100%. So where are you with him at this point? You've got other backs that can get it done. We know Waller can get it done. Just talk about, P.J. Simmons and where you are with him right now.
Well, P.J. is such a great player for us, and he's a great leader. And, sometimes at the running back position, it's not necessarily what you do. It's what the other 10 guys are doing on the play. And it's been a weird deal. One person's missing a block here on this carry and this carry, and we need to do a better job when PJ gets the ball, blocking well for him, and it's just kind of been one of those deals. He had a very long run on a good gap scheme for us, and it was a holding penalty this week. And it just that's kind of how it's been. But very proud of PJ and showing the guys in the film room. He may not have had that many touches or yards, but look at this block he just made to spring a touchdown by Waller. And that's special. And when you have that kind of chemistry, I think the culture is very good.
Coach McNair, we don't talk about P.J. Simmons that much as a blocker. We don't talk about it that much for all the things that he does, his leadership. Let's talk about his ability to open up holes with his blocking ability.
That's a different thing. That's the whole lot of stuff that comes with it, with the territory as being part of a running back, Charles. I mean, you have to be able to protect. And, you see a lot of times in the NFL with these guys, they got to step up and make a block on the defensive end or a linebacker. But those guys are special when it comes down to protecting and pass protecting and protect the quarterback because they got a lot of weight on them. And it may not be necessarily the weight that you need, but they got a lot of things they got to think about when a 285-pound defensive end is coming at them, So those guys, and PJ does a great job of accepting that challenge when it comes down to pass protection because these guys take pride in each other.
The obvious question for me, guys, is what about Foreman? We haven't called his name as much as it's just a numbers game. Only one guy can carry it. Right now Waller's been toting it at a 200-yard game, and he's been good. We know what P.J. Simmons is done. What about Foreman, Trey Turner? I mean, where's you're trying to give people touches. So talk about that situation, that dynamic. It's a good problem to have, though.
And that's where it's kind of scary at with Foreman, Charles. We talk about protection and stuff like that. A lot of times we in situations where we have to throw the ball and things of that nature, but very seldom that we'll give Marquise or inside zone, which he can run. But then when you think about him being out there, you think about the protection that we got to do in the passing game as well. So those are some of the things that get clues into when you talk about three different backs and three types of back running football.
All right, let's go to the phone lines here at 601-877-6595. Gwen joining us on the line. Good evening, Gwen. I'm doing pretty good. You sound like you're a million miles away. Everything all right?
All right, thank you, Ms. Gwen. We appreciate you.
All right, Gwen. We appreciate you calling us here on the Fred McNair radio show. All right, so we look at the third quarter. There wasn't any scoring there, but it was kind of back and forth, Coach McNair. I mean, it was kind of a tussle there. I mean, a play here, play there. Our defense, and we've talked about the good job that our offense has done, what Noah Johnson has done, but our defense continued to get off the field, continued to get pressure. And even Coach Dooley, the coach of Prairie, said this game, in his opinion, this game was won and lost in the trenches.
And you're exactly right, Charles. You can see it, man. You can see the battle up front on both sides of the field, you know. And those guys are digging in down there, man. You're talking about a good defensive front Prairie View had, and we got a good defensive front seven. And our offensive line against theirs, and their offensive line against ours. So it was a seesaw battle there, you know. I guess the third quarter was one of them quarters that we just still trying to fill each other out, you know, and being but don't break deal. I thought that both teams, they didn't score in the third quarter. But it was a battle there, Charles. You know, it's one of them seesaw battles.
Well, Coach Stanchek, offensive coordinator, former O-line coach, we hadn't talked about it all year. You know, at one point against Arkansas, I'll never forget this the rest of my life. We played 5 offensive linemen the whole game against the top SEC team. How many O-line are you using these days?
Well, we're rotating some guys in. Would like to get some more guys involved, and Will Gordon came off the bench and provided a spark for us this past week. Joey Milburn, our backup center, is doing a tremendous job, and you know, he will be playing. It's hard. That's the hardest position besides backup quarterback, I believe, in football, is the backup center, because he's good enough to play at guard, but you don't want to get him banged up at guard because center is very important and vital to our offense. So we mix some guys in, and it's a very deep group. And honestly, Charles, as the season goes, it gets a little cooler down here. And the big boys aren't breathing as hard, you know. So I ask her, you know, if you need a sub, let me know, because I trust, we got 10 guys that I trust that can play in the football game at any given time.
And would you agree the fact that this was one of those games that was won in the trenches?
I really do. You know, again, I know we keep talking about it, but I thought our defensive front won the battle, and you know, we did a good job on offense. Anytime you're that equal pass and rush, and we were a little down, you know, from our normal rush, but still 250 something or whatever it was, is solid.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of our guys to be in conference, to running the football the way we are, and again, the running backs and offensive line and really the receivers. That's what everybody forgets, that when you have a long rush, the receivers are doing their job, and our guys on the outside, Ray Anderson, Dale Harris, Chris Blair, those guys have done a tremendous job. Charles Hughes, Tim McNair, blocking. Tim McNair had a crackback this week that's a highlight. You know, it was awesome. And those guys, what they're doing on the edge, Charles Pringle, you know, all of them. I mean, what they're doing is when you get your long runs, your explosive plays. And we had 13 this week, which was good.
And yeah, without those receivers doing their part, and clearly those runs don't happen. So we'll jump into the fourth quarter. I mean, it wasn't a lot of scoring overall. There was no scoring in the third quarter. It was 20-10, Coach McNair. Then Elder's field goal made it 20-13. So it was one of those games, again, 7-point game. And I thought we did a great job, Coach, with clock management and really not being in any hurry, using the clock, milking the clock, and really extending drives with some big third down pickups, especially in the fourth quarter, to chew up a lot of time and basically chew up the game.
Charles, you know, if there's one stat that I look at after the game on Saturday, coming off is on Sunday, and it's posted, is third down conversion. That's one stat that I always look at, and how do we do on third down, because that's important at the end of the ball game. We convert third down and continue to move the clock, run the clock run, and continue to move the ball downfield. That's when you're really doing good, especially with a lead, you know, and that was big for us, and that's one reason why that we was able to capitalize on that last touchdown, because of that. You know, just converting those thirds down. Find those guys got wore out over there, and we lean on them a little bit more, and all of a sudden, Waller breaks one for a touchdown there, you know, with the aid of the blocking downfield, you know. So that's one of the things I think that we're really improving in on, is that we always talk about as coaches, just finishing, you know, on both sides of the ball, you know, and I think that we're doing a pretty good job of that now, and hopefully that will continue, Charles. We just got to keep pounding these guys and keep working them and let them know that, you know, you can do it, you know, and they know. We had a meeting earlier this afternoon, and we talked about the whole lift thing, Charles.
So with Waller's run, it was 27-13, and you could just see Coach Stanchek. I mean, Prairie View just didn't have any answers at that point. I mean, the game was there, but we made plays, a lot more plays, and towards the end, I think we just warmed down to the point where, as much as they were trying to stretch the field, you talked about our defense, and our defense has just been terrific, lights out. Just Prairie View just didn't have a whole lot of answers. I thought we kept them off balance on both sides all game long.
And Charles, you alluded to that last drive, and that's what I was very excited about, was finishing. And that was, I don't know how many minutes that drive was, but it was nice to get the ball. And it got a little hairy there. We got to do a really good job of running the football there and milking the clock. And we converted on a great third down to Waller, who picked up the first down by, again, a great block by our receivers on the edge and the tight ends.
There was one play, Coach, and someone brought it to my attention. We were milking it down, and we had them off balance. We threw the football one time, and that stopped the clock, obviously. Just talk about that particular play, because we could have milked another 2 or 3 minutes there.
Oh, that's exactly right. In the chants in the stands, I was cracking up. Run the ball. They were doing great chant.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. And at times we have RPOs, run pass options, and sometimes we just got to run it. And that's on me. And luckily we did hold that ball and go down and score. But I got to do a better job there. And that's exactly what happens, a run pass option. And it was probably a run read. And it just so happens we threw it, and I need to do a better job there.
Well, the Braves got the big score towards the end, and just, again, I thought we did a great job of getting ahead of the chains, even though we were behind the chains quite a bit in the game, as the Braves won 27-13. All right, it's 39 minutes after. We'll take a break here, look at some of the numbers, and we'll get to your text and tweets, and we'll look ahead to New Mexico State University out of Las Cruces, New Mexico. The Braves will fly to El Paso, stay there Friday, make the 45-minute drive to Las Cruces. Alcorn needs your support now more than ever. Show your Alcorn pride. Support our champions and scholars all year long through the Always Alcorn Annual Fund. Make your gift today. Help us continue to field leaders for the future. Call 601-877-6296 or visit the website alcorn.edu/foundation. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We'll go inside the numbers, have the SWAC report, look ahead to New Mexico State. 40 minutes after the hour. We'll be back after this on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
The University and the Trademark and Licensing Administration have joined to coordinate the placement of the university marks, both externally and internally, on items including shirts, caps, or other products. University licenses will only use those products which reflect positively upon the university and are in keeping with the university's mission. The Trademark and Licensing of the Alcorn State University insignia was established to protect the Alcorn State University name and identifying marks. Trademark and Licensing Administration works to preserve and promote the university's long-standing reputation as a center of academic and athletic excellence. Merchandise vendors wishing to use the university's identifying marks on commercial products must be licensed vendors who have obtained permission to use Alcorn State University marks by securing trademark licenses. Campus organizations that want university identifying marks on their internal use products must hire licensed vendors to produce these items. To learn more about the licensing and trademark requirements, visit www.alcorn.edu/trademark and licensing administration.
All right, back here at Studio B here on the beautiful campus of Alcorn State University, WPRL 91.7 FM, the flagship station. Big weekend, high school football, Jefferson County and Raleigh. Our own Jay Miles and the Bones Man, as Jay likes to call him, will bring you all the play-by-play action from Tiger Stadium in Fayette, Mississippi. So if you're looking for something to get into on a Friday night, high school football, I think the only team in the area that might be on that playoff track, I know Vicksburg has to win at Holmes County Central on Friday night. Warren Central, I think they're in good shape to win, but I think in order to get in, they have to win this week coming up. So if you're looking for something to do here in Southwest Mississippi, Tiger Stadium in Fayette, Mississippi, one of the few places that you can get soul food for a high school football game. Coach McNair, I mean, unbelievable. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great scene. And Tiger football, you can hear it right here on WPRL, by the way. Jay Miles and the Bones Man will bring you all the action beginning at 6:50 on Friday night as Jefferson County taking on Raleigh. All right, let's look at the numbers here, Coach. Noah Johnson,